Alright everyone, hello! But these are the 5 books that I've just started, so I'll talk about them. The first one is Set in Stone by Mari Mancusi. It's a twisted tale. On the back it says A Twisted Tale number 15. I think there's a couple that I may have skipped. Obviously it's an Arthur retelling. What if Arthur wasn't supposed to be king? Basically, I'm only on chapter 2, so I'm not super far into it yet. Basically, what Arthur, he pulled the sword of the stone, but what he doesn't know is that the scheming witch Madame Mim used her magic to help him free the sword, believing that he would be easy to control once he was made king. But he's proving more capable, so she uses her foster daughter Guinevere to put Arthur back into his rightful place, but then Arthur and Guinevere forge an unlikely friendship. So they are kind of working together, it seems like. So I haven't met Guinevere yet. And the prologue shows that Merlin is out of the picture because he's time traveling, but he is not managing to get back to the right time where he needs to be. So I am very curious about how this is going to go. These are usually kind of quick, fun reads for me. So I'm hoping that this works. It's funny because ever since watching Merlin the TV show, like the Merlin and Guinevere, or the Arthur and Guinevere, like love story doesn't connect for me in the same way that I think it does for like other people. So I am curious. They are quite young, so I don't think it's going to be like a love story necessarily per se. I think it's going to be like a friendship thing. So this might be okay. I think I could deal with this. So that's that one. The next one we have here is I don't have the covers for any of these, so sorry. Black Candle Women by Diane Marie Brown. This one, the cover is gorgeous. I'll have to put it on here obviously when I show you the end I will. It is Black Candle Women by Diana Marie Brown. This one was one that I bought from the Black Garnet Books. It is so pretty looking, but I remember reading, what year did 2023 I think this came out. Yeah, 2023. And it was on my list of like books I wanted to read in 2023 because of the premise. So basically there is a family of women, I think it's 4 of them. Yeah, there's technically 4 women, but it's generations of women. 3 of them have lived together in their quaint 2-story bungalow for years. They keep to themselves, they never really go far from home, and they dabble in like voodoo and like other forms of like magic that way. But it's Augusta who's their grandma. They call her Nan Augusta. And then Willow and Victoria are sisters. And Victoria's daughter Nikki, who is 17. Well, Nikki brings home a boy for the first time ever to her birthday party. And Victoria has to deal with the fact that like they have a curse where anyone they fall in love with dies. So now they have to like confront, it says they have to reckon with their own past choices and mistakes, and as new truths about the curse emerge, the family is set on a collision course dating back to a voodoo shop in 1950s New Orleans, where a hidden story in a mysterious book may just hold the answers they seek in life and in love. So far I'm only on chapter 6, I just got to chapter 6, but it's told from each of the different characters' perspectives. I don't think we've had Nikki yet, but we've had Victoria and Willow. Oh, we did have Nikki and Nan Augusta. We did have Nan Augusta. So we've had all of them at least once. So it's gonna like, so it's like 4 different perspectives throughout the story, but it's gonna go back and like have them talk about like where the curse came from and stuff. Right now, Victoria's already irritating me because it's like, instead of just talking to her daughter about like what her reservations are, she just like pretends she has a headache and doesn't want to deal with any of it. So she's just like, trying to make her daughter like fall out of love with this boy without like talking to her daughter about it. It's very interesting to me. But I think it's going to be a quick, easy read. It's only like 360 pages long, but it's like skinny, so it should be okay. The chapters are pretty short, so I feel like it'll go by pretty quickly. But yeah, I'm excited for that one. I gotta speed up a little bit through these descriptions here. The third one we have, this is the outside though, like this is beautiful. I love this. But it's The Crimson Moth by Kristen Ciccarrelli. This was the February 2024 Fairyloot book. So I have that, which is like cool. Basically, it's also called, it's called something else in English. In the American version, it's called like the, I can't remember. There's like a different name for it. The title is different for some reason. And this is the reimagined cover, and then the regular cover, I think in a different colorway, is this one. I don't mind this front cover, but I do, because this person doesn't look as like weird as the other ones do. But I do like the original cover as well. But basically, it seems like they're in a, where are they now? It's going to be a duology, it says right here, which I love that. It tells you that right away, because if you were at a bookstore and you were looking at this, and you'd be like, oh, it's a duology. Good to know when I go into it. So basically, Rune is a witch, and it doesn't say where they live, but where she lives, they basically have, there's been like a rebellion, and now witches are like, you're not allowed to be witches, basically. You're going to get like stolen, or like killed or whatever. And so she has to pretend that she's not a witch, and she ends up using, does it say why? Oh, she spends her nights as the Crimson Moth, a witch vigilante who rescues her kind from being purged. And then a rescue goes wrong, and so to throw the witch hunters off the set, she teams off her scent. She teams up with Gideon. I almost said Damien. Gideon, who is a notorious witch hunter. And then they kind of start to fall in love. So it's like, can you really, like, what happens if they fall in love? I do love in the author note, it says like, a tender-hearted witch and the tragic boy who's hunting her. I love that he's tragic. I just love that for them. This is them. The tender witch and the tragic boy. Yeah, that just makes me so funny. Like, it's so funny to me that he's just like tragic. Because I'm excited for his like aloofness. But, so this is this one. I literally just started this. I'm not even on chapter 1 yet. Still at the very beginning. So I haven't read much of it yet. The next one I have, this outer dust jacket is really cute. But this is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This is the second and final book in this duology, which I love. Divine Rivals was the first one. I remember devouring Divine Rivals when I read it. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, and then I like fell in love, and I was like, I need the second one. And I missed the pre-order for the second book on Fairyloot because I wanted to get the Fairyloot copy to match my other one. So this is just the regular copy, but that's fine. It's still cute. But basically, I can't tell you too much about like what happened at the end, but Iris is back in their hometown. Roman is not. He is back where, like, in the front lines where they were together before. And he's missing, and she doesn't know where he is, and then she gets a lead on where he might be, and so she has to kind of try to find him. But he doesn't remember who she is. So that's kind of what happens here. Will their love end the war or break the world, is what it says. So I obviously can't tell you too much about the plot of the first one, but I do remember just being so in love with Roman. And Iris doesn't annoy me, which doesn't often happen with a lot of like female main leads, is they often really annoy me, especially if the guy is like really good. So I remember, I think that's why I loved it so much, was that I wasn't annoyed by Iris. I really liked her. I felt like she was realistic, and like she was like, she had like normal reactions to things, I think. And I just remember being in love with Roman, so I love that for him. I am excited to continue reading. I'm on chapter 6 of this one, so they're told from, so there's an Iris and a Winnow perspective. That's really cool. I love that for them. Anyway, yeah, there's that one, and then there's one more that I have here. And I have Tangled Up in You by Christina Lauren. This book is the 4th book in the Meant to Be series. It's obviously Rapunzel, but the character's name is Wren. And I'm already annoyed. I'm only on chapter 2, but I'm already annoyed by Wren's parents. So basically, Wren has grown up on like a homestead, like her farm. Her parents have refused to let her go to school because they said like things in the real world are like people care more about other things than like the things that are important, basically. And so she has always wanted to go to college, and so she applied to go to college and she got in, and they're trying to guilt trip her into not wanting to go because they're like, what are we going to do without you? And the way they're guilt tripping her, because at first she was just feeling bad about leaving. She's like, my dad's back is not what it used to be. Like, I do all these things. I help them a lot. She's like, are they going to be okay, like, able to like live without me? And I was like, oh girl, it's okay, like they're your parents, they'll be fine. And then they literally were like, well, you know, it's gonna be really hard without you here. And I was like, did you have a child or did you have a servant? Like, those are the different, because the way they're treating her is like she's their employee and she's their servant, and they're really disappointed in the fact that like she's not being there to help them. But this is your child. Like, your child should not be the one you rely on to function. She should rely on you to function. That is your child. But she is an adult, and so they can't like really stop her from going. But they did say that if she comes back or like slacks on her duties, they'll tell her that she has to leave permanently for good. So that's really irritating. But Fitz he's one of the ones that like has his whole life mapped out. He's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna like pass myself off as this rich, handsome player everyone thinks he is, but he's really, like, not. Oh, he has a criminal record, but he's trying to get it wiped clean and stuff like that. The rest of them have been fine, but I really like Christina Lauren's writing. I'm excited to read this. It's only 309 pages long, so I think it'll go pretty quickly because it's smaller than the last one. And then the new one comes out in June, right around my birthday, so I feel like if I can finish this up, I can order the next one and not feel bad about it. Also, the next one is Mulan, and Li Shang is, like, my favorite. It's Prince Eric and Li Shang are my favorite of the Disney princes. Hi everyone, and welcome to another clip. This is, I think, my first clip since I started this vlog, because I had a friend come into town over this last weekend. So I did some reading, but I didn't get to do any filming. But I finished Tangled Up in You by Christina Lauren. This is the 4th book in the Meant to Be series. The first one being If the Shoe Fits, Cinderella. Second one being By the Book, Belle. Third one being Kiss the Girl, It's a Little Mermaid. And so this one is obviously Rapunzel. I think I talked about what it's about, but basically the entire time I was so angry at Wren's parents, and I was curious because, like, in the original, like, in Rapunzel, the story, she has Mother Gothel, who, like, steals her from the king and queen and then, like, locks her in a tower. And this one I was curious about, like, how, because it started with her parents, so I was curious about, like, what her parents' reasoning was for why she was, like, so sheltered and stuff. And then I did like Finn's. Finn's was fun. Like, Finn's whole storyline was great as well. I wasn't sure if I was annoyed. It was like, it feels weird because it's like, was that really why they were interested in her? Because she was so sheltered and, like, so, like, she had no idea what was going on, like, because of all of that? Or were they obsessed with her because she was gorgeous? So that was really tricky to, like, understand. So it just feels like maybe, like, it was not as realistic. But that was the only part that I really had trouble getting through. Also, it was really shocking to me how quickly she disobeyed what her parents told her to do. Like, they told her, you can go to college, but you can't leave the campus. You can't do this, you can't do that. And she even mentions, like, there was a few times where she, like, briefly left campus to, like, go to a coffee shop or go do something. And it was, like, I feel like if your if you were 22 years old and you had grown up under your parents' thumb for that long, there would have been more fight. For the sake of the story, it really like pushed it along, which was nice, because I think I also would have been annoyed if it was like a whole bunch of her being like, and then I went to the homestead, and then I did all these things, because like I don't think I could have taken another scene with her like parents. I think I probably would have actually thrown the book across the room had I had to interact with them more than I already did in this book. I did enjoy the ending. I liked the way that it like came out and like how people rallied around her to help her, and how like it doesn't end with like her and Fitz having everything figured out. It ends with them like agreeing to take the next step and like figuring out that situation, but like staying like still helping each other figure that out and agreeing that they don't really know. And I did like that. I liked that it was more realistic. I didn't get to update when I got halfway because I read it at school and then at work. But anyway, that's that one, and I will see you in the next update for the next one. Bye-bye! Hi everyone, I turned off my aircon for this clip, so I hope that I don't talk for too long, but I finally finished the second book in this reading vlog series. Let me show you what book it is. I don't know why this one has taken me so much longer. I think it's because I've just been like doing a lot more things recently. But I'm going home in the middle of July for a whole month, so I want to try to get as many books read as I can before I go, because I don't know how many I'm going to bring with me when I leave. I might just bring a couple and then maybe bring a couple more back. We'll see. Also, my battery's going to die soon, so quick note, I bought a new tripod on Taobao, so I'm so excited to use it. I can stand up now and talk about my books. I don't have to sit in a place where I can prop. You can see my bed over here. My cleaning lady made my bed today, so that's exciting. There's a mirror behind me. This is where I hang my jewelry. My kitchen is right over there. My table is here. My couch is right behind me, which you've seen in the background of some videos. You can see if you look in the mirror, my TV is right in front of this, or behind the camera, so that's exciting. But anyway, let me just quickly share what book I finished. I finished Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. I'm trying for this one to not update as frequently. One, because I've been trying to like read a lot more like at school, and so I haven't been noticing, but also I've been editing. I'm still currently editing the second reading vlog, and it's been like several weeks since I finished the last book in that, but because I updated so many times, there's so much extra footage, so I'm trying to like condense it so I don't have so much to edit, because that was why I stopped editing videos in the first place, was because I was getting bored and I hated editing. Anyway, so this is the second and final book in the Divine Rivals series. I recently just heard via those Forking Fangirls, Christine Riccio and Natasha Polis's podcast, that Divine Rivals was picked up for a TV series, I think, and neither of them had read the book, but I'm excited for that. I'm glad that I finished this. This book, I only gave it 4 stars. It's the second book in the series, so I can't share too much about what happened, but it follows both Iris and Roman and the same characters from the first book. There's a couple more that kind of come in to play. Not really. There's not really. Oh, there's like 2 more that come into play that you didn't meet in the first book, but there's a couple more that come into play in the second book for various reasons. But this is the second book. I obviously can't talk much about it. The first one is about Iris and Roman, and Iris has been writing letters on her typewriter to her brother, who is fighting the war between Dakra and Enva, who are both gods. That's what the Divine Rivals is about. And she's been placing them in their shared wardrobe, and they've been disappearing. And one day she gets a letter back from a mysterious stranger who she doesn't know, and it turns out to be Roman Kit, who is her rival at her job, where she writes for a newspaper. And they find out that there's a magical connection between their typewriters that they have. And so that continues in this one, and it kind of helps them throughout this book. I liked this book less than the first one, only because the first one focused more on like it had the war and like the politics of what's going on and that kind of stuff, but it focused a lot more on their love story, whereas this one was more focused on like the war and how they and the other people around them had to deal with this war and how they dealt with it in different ways. So that was very interesting. I still really liked it because I thought it was different, because like it's tricky when you have romance novels or like romance series. There's always got to be some form of like big climactic thing, and I liked how this was like it brought them together, but there was more to their story, more to what they were doing, more than what this was longer than the first one, I believe, too. It just provided them with more information, I'm gonna say. Like, it gave them more insight into their like beliefs as human beings, and their like how their love transcends different obstacles, and how their relationships with their friends and family and other people around them developed, not just on how they developed their relationship together. So I thought that was really good. I did end up crying in the last couple of chapters. You'll find out why if you read this book. But I gave it 4 stars because I didn't love it as much as the first one, but I really liked it. I'm glad I finished it before the show comes out, because I'm gonna just love to see them on screen, I think. Hi everyone, I'm here with another update. I wasn't going to do halfway updates, but it's taking me so long to get halfway through in these 3 books because I haven't been reading as much. Oh, they all have black spines. Wow, crazy. That I figured I just needed to do a quick update to let you know I've finally made it halfway through in all 3 of these books. So I'm just going to quickly talk about them. In The Crimson Moth, I am really enjoying Gideon and Rune. I think their backstories are really interesting. I'm curious to know, like, I'm curious to see where this goes, and like if they both discover while he doesn't really know her secret of like why she's courting him, she kind of thinks he might be courting her for like a nefarious reason, but she is more interested in like making him think she's actually courting him. So I am curious to know, like, if in this book, because it is book 1, I think there's only going to be 2, but I am curious to know, like, if he finds out in this book, and if he does, what happens. My battery is going to die, so I hope I can do this really quick. The only thing I'm going to say about Black Candle Women is that I hate Victoria. I don't like her at all. I don't understand her. I don't know what her motivation is. I don't know what she wants. I don't know how she thinks anything is going to go well, so that's annoying. And then in this one, I just like these twisted books, so like obviously you know that like the ending is going to be like a Disney kind of story. But I do like the twist of like that Arthur was never supposed to be king. And then Guinevere is starting to see that like maybe her purpose to infiltrate him is actually like that maybe her mom is actually in the wrong. So I do enjoy that. This was a quick 2-minute update. My battery is literally flashing, so I'm going to stop there. But I just wanted you to know I'm at the halfway mark in all of these, and I hope to update you soon when I finish. Okay, bye! Hi everyone, and welcome to another update. It's been several days since I filmed the last one. I do apologize for the jingling lights and the aircon. I was going to shut it off, but I got I just put up these new lights, and they love, oh, that one's burnt out. They love to get tangled at the bottom, and so I just untangled them all, so I didn't want to walk back there and try to turn off my aircon and then spend 5 more minutes untangling them. So for the ambiance of this video, it's just going to be on. I apologize. But I finished The Crimson Moth, which is book number 1 of the Crimson Moth series. I am very curious. The English version of this, or the American version of this, is called The Heartless Hunter. And I'm very curious because Rune's character is called the Crimson Moth. In the American version, is she called the Heartless Hunter the whole time? Or is that just the title of the book, but she's still the Crimson Moth? If anyone is watching this video and you read the American version, the Heartless Hunter version, please let me know, because I'm very curious to know if it's different or if it's just like the first Harry Potter book where there's like slight variations on words, but it's basically the same thing, because that kind of changes the whole story, if that's what she's called. I don't know if I would have liked reading it if she was called the Heartless Hunter, because I feel like that doesn't describe her as a character, because the point of her as the Crimson Moth is that she cares too much. She cares about a lot of different things. She cares a lot about a lot of different things. She cares about Gideon. She cares about her friends Alex and Verity. She cares about the other witches. She cares about her grandma. She cares about what people think of her. She cares about like these nameless witches that she's never known. She cares about the future of the country. She cares about lots of people and lots of things, and so it's very interesting that being called the Heartless Hunter, I feel like does not accurately describe this character. So this is about Rune. She is a witch, and she, several years ago, 2 years ago, two-ish years ago, she gave up her grandma, who was a witch. There was they used to be ruled by witches, and they overthrew the government. I think I talked about this already, but I'm going to say it again, and Editing Haley can cut it out. Sorry, Editing Haley. But they used to be ruled by witches, and about 2 years before this book takes place, there was an uprising, and they killed the 3 sister witches that were on the throne. And Gideon, who's the other main character in this book, he killed 2 of them, and Gideon's younger brother Alex, who is Rune's best friend, killed the youngest one, the 3rd one, Cressida. And then they banned witches after that. And so Rune gave up her grandmother because her grandmother was a witch, because her grandmother didn't want Rune to die. So she said, if they find me as a witch, we both will die, because they'll kill Rune for not turning her grandmother in, and they'll kill her grandmother for being a witch. So she says, turn me in so that only I have to die. I couldn't watch it happen to you. So Rune turns her in. She has been feeling constant regret about doing this. So she has, and after she started her monthly cycle, she calls it monthly cycle, but basically it's like her period. Once she started that, she realized that she actually is also a witch, which she didn't know, but she thinks her grandmother may have suspected. And so she's using her power to take on this persona of the Crimson Moth and find all of the witches that are left and smuggle them out of the city, or find the ones that have already been imprisoned and smuggle them out of the jail so that none of them have to die, so that they don't have to die. And the book starts where she is looking for her grandma's best friend. It took her 2 years to track her down. She finally finds her. She shows up at the house, and the house has been raided, and Seraphine has been taken. And so Rune is trying to figure out where they're keeping Seraphine and when they are moving her so she can go save her and release her. So she and her friend, mostly herself, she hatches a plot to seduce Gideon Sharp, who is like the head of the witch hunters, to make him fall in love with her so he'll tell her information about where Seraphine is. Well, Gideon also has some intel that leads to the fact that Rune may be the Crimson Moth. So he and his friend suggests to him that he should seduce her to try to figure out if she is a witch. Because witches, they have to use blood to cast their spells. And so if they cut themselves to use their own blood, they their scars look different on witches, so they have casting scars. Well, Rune knew this about herself, about witches, so she's specifically not used blood, like she's specifically not cut herself to use her blood. She has collected her blood other times, so that she, and her friend Verity has collected blood for her, so that she can cast spells without having to get these casting scars, so that if someone looks at her, no one will know that she's a witch. So they are both, I liked it because it's like they're both fake dating each other. Like, she's fake dating him, and she, supposedly, he's not supposed to know. Like, he's supposed to think it's real. And he's fake dating her, and she's supposed to think it real. But they both, well, they're both a little bit suspicious of each other. He's suspicious of her being the Moth, so her trying to seduce him to get information. And she's suspicious that he knows she's the Moth, so she's trying to like, so that that's why he's trying to seduce her. And they kind of develop feelings for each other, and then a big blow up happens, where, like, in true fashion. I'm not going to tell you exactly what happens, but basically stuff happens. But there's another complication, is that she has two best friends, Verity and Alex. Alex is Gideon's younger brother, and Alex has been in love with Rune forever. And Gideon knows this, and so that's where the trickiness is that Gideon knows that Alex likes her, but Alex has not made a move yet. So Gideon is also racked with guilt because he's like, I'm just doing this to figure out if she's the Crimson Moth, but I don't want to hurt Alex. And so he keeps justifying it with like, well, if she's the Crimson Moth, then I can get her, then I can arrest her and keep her away from Alex. But if she is not the Crimson Moth, I just need to prove that she's not the Crimson Moth, and then I'll back away. So, like, that's his inner turmoil, and her inner turmoil is that she's like, but he's also kind of falling in love with her. And her inner turmoil is that she's also kind of falling in love with him, but she knows that, like, she's keeping this giant secret from him. The fact that she is this witch that he's looking for, and he is supposed to be killing her. Like, that's what he's supposed to be doing. So it's a very interesting plot. I really liked that theme. I love a good fake dating, and obviously it's like fake dating but not fake dating, and it doesn't feel icky. Like, sometimes it feels icky when it feels icky when one person is pretending and the other person is not pretending. Even if they end up falling in love, like, it still feels icky from the beginning. But it doesn't feel icky in this sense because they both are pretending, and like they both are kind of aware that the other is pretending. That was this update. Hi everyone, and welcome to another update. I finished this book, Set in Stone. By Mari Mancusi. This is the 15th book in Disney's A Twisted Tale. I do have the one, I think only one before this that I have, like I purchased, that I have to read. And then I think there's one that I still have to purchase. And then there's a couple. I used to be really good at keeping up on these, and then I got really behind. And it sucks that Goodreads doesn't have them listed as like a series anymore, so you can't like click on it and go see them all. You have to like Google it and find them, so it's extra difficult just to figure out like which ones I'm missing. So I'll have to go read some of them. But anyway, this is about Arthur, and it was what if he was not supposed to be the king, and Madame Mim, or Morgan Le Fay, had tricked him. She switched the Rio Sword in the Stone with one from like Disney World, basically, she says. She doesn't call it Disney World, she just calls it amusement park, but it's basically Disney World, because I know they have one there. Arthur on the throne because she thinks she can like manipulate him, and then she realizes that he is a student of Merlin, who is her mortal enemy. So then she elicits the help of her adopted daughter, Guinevere, to befriend Arthur and then find a way to take him down. And basically it's about and Merlin, she has like trapped Merlin in the future, so he can't help. And so Merlin and Gwen they go on a mission to try to find Merlin and figure out how they can stop Mim. The whole time Arthur not knowing that Guinevere is Mim's like supposed daughter. There's a lot of like secrets that get revealed and things like that. I liked this because the characters are like 12, so it's more of like the like precious child thoughts of like, oh, really, people want me to be the king, like thinking about like if a young person who has no beef with anybody, like doesn't understand like why would we hate on these people, like the innocence of a child became the king. And I love that, because who didn't grow up in this world, like he didn't grow up groomed to be the king. So I like that a lot, of like he has no sense of like why would we hate these Saxons, they did nothing to us. And then finding that, and like the believability, everyone believes him because he's just such a genuine like kid. Not everyone believes him, but like the Saxon general like believes him, and people believe that he's doing his best because he's just so earnest and so like young, and so like he has no reason to have ulterior motives. I love that. I thought it was so cute. I give this 4 stars because it's just cute. I love these books. They're not like, you know, groundbreaking things, but I think there's always something to learn about, like in here, is to learn about like what, like he learns about what's important in being like a, being a ruler. They also learn about the term democracy because Merlin was stuck in the future for so long, and so they kind of implement that, and then it's very cute because the way he speaks about it is the way that it should be. And yeah, it's just so cute and adorable, and I think it's so lovely. But yeah, I give it 4 stars, so I can't wait to read the next one. The next one I'm reading for the next vlog is finishing a series as well, but I have another, like an Incredibles one that I have here that I'll read at a later date as well. So anyway, thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you in the next clip. I'm almost done with the Black Candle Women, which is the final book in this vlog, and then I can upload and start editing. So I'm still editing the second one because I'm so behind. But anyway, thank you again so much for watching. See you soon. Hi everyone, and welcome to my final update for this vlog of 5. I finished Black Candle Women finally, by Diane Marie Brown. I say finally because it's not like it was hard to get through. It's only whatever 270 pages, so it's not like it's a long book either. But I wrote this on my Goodreads review, was that it's told from the point of view of 4 different women, from technically they span 4 generations, but it's really only 3 of the 4 generations. So the 4 women, it's Augusta, who is Nan Augusta. She is the grandmother of 2 of the other characters and the great-grandmother of one of the other characters. And then it's Victoria and Willow. They are sisters, and they are the granddaughters of Augusta. And then Nikki is Victoria's daughter. So those are the 4 women that are telling the story. And then Willow and Victoria's mom, Madeline, does come into the picture, but we don't see her perspective in this book. But basically, so it's about this family. They were cursed that anyone they love is going to die. And each character reveals that they are hiding something from the other characters, and they have different reasons for it. Augusta is hiding from them her past, which is how they got cursed and what happened, and like the whole truth that way. Victoria is hiding the idea of the curse from her daughter Nikki. Willow is hiding that she doesn't believe in the curse from her entire family. And Nikki is hiding from her mom because she brings a boy over and her mom basically shuts her down and doesn't explain why, just shuts her down. And so she sneaks around with him and has to hide it from her mom and that kind of stuff. So all of them are telling secrets, and a bunch of stuff happens. Things go wrong. They fight with each other. They bring the mom back in the picture. They do all these things because because nobody's telling the truth. There was a question that had like a reading group questions at the end, and I liked the question. At several points in the story, there are 4 generations of Montrose women living in the same household. What impact does this living arrangement have on their lifestyles? Is it more of a hindrance or a help to have so many generations under one roof? And one of the things that I was thinking of was like, it really just reinforced the fact that they need to keep secrets from each other, because nobody felt comfortable sharing secrets. And like even later, Nana Gusta talks about how like she feels bad. She feels like if she had shared these secrets with her children, then like none of these things would have happened. These people wouldn't have gone missing. They wouldn't be having this trouble with Nikki, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, like Victoria's like, if I would have told the secret this way, and Willow was like, if I hadn't kept this secret, and then Nikki's like, if I hadn't kept this secret, then things would be different. But, so they all have like, without knowing that the others are keeping secrets, they've all been like trained to keep secrets from each other because of how they react to the secrets, how they've grown up, and all of that. So I think that was part of it. This one, it says, like Augusta's mother, Victoria envisions a certain future for her daughter and tries to control her. What other patterns are passed on among the generations? Discuss how traditions and behaviors, both useful and harmful, can continue within families. And that's also where the secrets is like keeping secrets from each other and not listening and like being really cagey about everything that's going on has really affected the family in dire ways. And I think part of what really took me so long to get through this book was because of Victoria's chapters. All of the girls were flawed. I can see that. Nikki, I can give her, she's 17. She's grown up with like a quite controlling mom in this, like, she's kind of sheltered a little bit. I can give her more leeway because she's also like a teenager. But Victoria just irked me so much. Like, she was the main one that irked me the most. And so every time I saw a Victoria chapter, I would like get really frustrated and I would not want to read it. And I was just like, because I couldn't handle Victoria. And like, I think the point is that you're supposed to see her growth. You're not supposed to like, maybe some people do connect with her. I'm not sure. I've never been a mother of a 17-year-old girl either with like this sort of, you know, background in my life. But I think I was just so annoyed with like the way that she spoke, and she does really grow at the end, but it was just so much like it was her way or the highway. She thought she was doing what was right, so if, God forbid, anybody else do anything a little bit differently, God forbid she never tell Nikki why she's angry and just assume that Nikki's gonna go for it. Things like that. And it's like, she really has to see like the patterns that all of her family has kind of come up with. So like her, you know, like how she kicks her sister out and how that affects Nikki and how that affects her aunt and how that affects her mom and how that affects her business and like, not her aunt, her grandma, like all of that. And it's like, and how it affects the sister, and then how like not having this conversation with her daughter has affected her daughter and affected her sister and affected her grandma and affected her mother. And it's like there's a lot of like repercussions to the way she has believed in things, and she's not seeing them in that way because she's so blind to like everything she does is perfect. I did enjoy this book. I think I gave it a 4 stars. Because it was really hard to get through Victoria's chapters. I just didn't like her so much. But she does grow in the end, and she's not a perfect person, but she does like see the error of her ways. Anyway, thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next vlog. Sorry if my face looks a little pink and my aircon is on. I just was outside, and there's a heat alert going on, and so I just came from work. I went to the store first and then came back, so I'm a little bit red, and that's why my air is on because I'm trying to cool down. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next vlog. It might be a while before you see the next one, but anyway, bye bye.